Hey everyone, welcome to the Bullish Podcast. I am Whit Gibbs and I have got a very special guest today. This gentleman and I have known each other for a while now, and I'm sure everyone watching this will know him already. But welcome to the show, Nick Core. Nick, welcome, buddy. It's good to talk to you.
What's up? What's up? Long time. It's been a minute since you and I have talked.
Yeah, man. What was it? The last time that I saw you was in Miami a year and a half ago?
Do you miss Miami?
I do and I don't. It's a double-edged sword. What about you?
Big time. I miss it. Like the lifestyle down there is just so different compared to everywhere in the U.S. It's just so much better, I feel. With everything going on with COVID, like who knows, but how it is now. But I do miss Miami. And that whole crew, like how we got together.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. So that crew, that whole meetup situation that we had, that's actually where I met Russell, who's now the producer for Bullish AF and for all of the other hash rate productions. So
nice.
Yeah, it's been nice to stay in touch with him. Miami was one of those places. It's awesome. The vibe and the culture that's down there, you really can't replicate that anywhere else. It really is so Latin infused. It's great. But dude, what are you out west now?
Yeah, I'm in LA now. I'm in,
okay.
in
all
the
right.
hood. I'm in the hood now.
Hood.
Yeah.
Dude,
what's what LA feels like.
But what's up with everything out there now? I mean, I'm in Europe, so I'm missing all of the movement, so to speak. I am. I'm in Latvia right now.
That's why the time zone was so messed up. Okay, gotcha.
Helsinki.
Are you there? So yeah, Helsinki. That's what it was. Are you there permanently now?
I am applying. I'm applying for my residency as we speak. So,
oh wow! Congrats.
Yeah. I went from being a card-carrying Republican to an immigrant all in one presidential term.
Yeah, I'm ready to leave the U.S. Honestly, I'm working on a few projects myself, and then after that, I'm bouncing out. LA, no more for me. Even in like the last year, I've been here around a year now. Like the homeless population, and I'm not saying that's the reason to leave LA. It's just everything the way it's set up. It's just like I would say probably 10 times as many homeless now. Like even in the nice neighborhoods, it's just collapsed here. It's just bad. It's like financially, nobody has a job. Everybody, it seems like, is hooked on drugs out here. It's a bad town. So I'm ready to leave.
That's actually the last place that I saw you. It wasn't in Miami. It was in LA for...
At the conference.
Yeah. And I was staying downtown. And that was actually my first experience of like poverty at scale. I'd hopped on a bird and I'm like, just, taking a scooter through downtown and it ran out of battery on Skid Row. So,
oh, really? Like, the literal worst.
Yeah, that was fun. It was very interesting. But how
did it go getting out of there?
That's fine. I mean, I went to a really rough high school in Miami. I wasn't too concerned with it. I think that when you get caught in a place like that and it's your first experience, that's one thing, but
it also depends too, like time of day when you're there, like at night, you really don't want to be, a normal looking person in that area, to put it lightly. But, and now especially we just drove by there, I think it was yesterday, and it's just like Skid Row has grown like multiple blocks now. And like the population density of it is just insane. Like how many people are actually there? Like, just light fires in the middle of the street. That's normal. It's absolutely insane.
Well, and now I think I heard on Rogan's podcast that they have to set up porta potties for the homeless. So they're actually catering to them, which is, I mean, look, I'm all for everyone having the ability to basic human necessities, but it's kind of crazy still.
Yeah. So it's coming out of taxpayer dollars and stuff. And I can see why people might be mad about that. But like, honestly, truthfully, living here, like they need to, like, what are they going to do? Like move the homeless population somewhere else or just let them, have bad hygiene, not a restroom, like they're going to live there. There's nowhere to put them. So I'm in the north end of the valley. I'm in San Fernando Valley. Okay. And even up here, like in neighborhoods where there was no homeless, like there's, 30 people or so set up under an overpass now. It's just
crazy.
And it's not slowing down. Like every week, I swear, like you see more tents, more tarps and more boxes. And it's just, yeah.
So where are you headed? Where are you headed after LA?
That's a good question. We can only go so many places, right? Right now. So like in the midterm, I don't know. Looks like Maldives is an option for people from the US and I think I'll go there for a couple of weeks and kind of figure out where I'm going to take off to permanently. And
I mean, that's like the polar opposite of LA. You're talking about like
I'm
droplets
done.
of land in the middle of the Indian Ocean. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. It's just Maldives. So
Yeah.
ironically, I've been searching like in my Google Chrome browser. I bring that up because I've been trying to find places that you can go to from the U.S.
Yeah.
And the next morning I wake up and boom, in my Instagram feed, a big headline: U.S. Citizens can now go in and out of Maldives as of like the 16th or whatever, July 16th. I'm like, all right, Google, fine.
Well, I mean, there are worse places to go, right? The Maldives is beautiful. I actually have a lot of family that have been there and they love it. So it should be a fun place. Fun place to get off the grid for a little while and kick it.
Yeah, I'm okay with being away from everything for the next year or so while this all sorts itself out.
Well, dude, I remember you went on, like after Miami, you went on a hiatus, right? You kind of did your thing. I know you were working on a business and you had a lot of work you were doing and you just kind of wanted to get away from it all and focus.
I did, yeah.
What was that like? I mean, taking that time, because you were in somewhere remote. I just remember a lot of winter pictures.
Yeah, I was deep in like the Kansas country, to be honest, like not a neighbor for like a mile type country.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good. I'm actually getting close to launching something I've been working on with automated trading the last couple of years, and it's finally come to a spirit to where it's ready to be put into a product, I guess. And a lot of this has come from like that time, just being able to focus up for 6 months or so was good.
Sure.
And that's kind of where I'm at now too. I haven't been streaming. I haven't really been on crypto Twitter as much lately because I'm in build mode. This market's about to take off, and doing a little bit of day trading, but kind of like we talked about before, not as much as I'd like to because I'm just focused on building for what's coming right now.
Okay, so I got to ask, because you said it, right? This market is getting ready to take off. I think there's a lot of people that would argue that, I mean, we've seen a lot of coin tokens go 5, 10, 30x. So if we're just getting started.
Yeah, we are.
Please, Sensei, guide me. What
think of it this way. Like, so if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you, okay, we'll see a real alt season after 20,000 when we hit the new high of Bitcoin, right? But now, interestingly, the environment has kind of changed. There's a lot of money out there, fresh U.S. dollars from the Federal Reserve looking for assets, and truly like VCs, and they're just looking for any kind of exposure right now, anywhere traditional money is, and it's a totally different environment. This is where we thrive. And so we're seeing a lot of cryptocurrencies get a lot of action with Bitcoin barely even moving. Like we're not even really having any kind of like cycles from Bitcoin into them, in and out. So obviously new money's coming in and there's new interest in DeFi a lot. However, I've had that word muted for like, I don't know, 3 weeks now. So I'm not at all, I just can't, there's just too much. It's just too much. If it moves, I'll trade it. But yeah, everything it's a changing landscape. And we're, yesterday traditional markets sold off a little bit, like Bitcoin held and actually held a little bit of a rally. And there's a big argument right now on, us being, we need to decouple from traditional markets in order for this to work. Maybe it's happening now, but yeah.
Well, there was the news that came out today, and actually it just came out, I think, an hour or two ago. And I haven't had a chance to read the article, but the headline indicated that the CFTC is now ruling Bitcoin as money. So I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
But when I saw it, I exited a lot of my alt positions for ETH because I feel, ETH is, is making solid moves right now anyway.
I was just going to say, I just got a whole shit ton of alerts on ETH, like literally last 10 seconds.
Yeah. And so that's my thing is like, when we're done with the stream, I'll check and see what's hit and what missed. But I think that we're going to see a move because there's so much Bitcoin that's wrapped up in DeFi right now. That we're likely to see ETH and Bitcoin move together. And obviously if that happens, then, there's going to be exponential stacking of Bitcoin when you're in an ETH position, as opposed to, the other way around.
There's a lot of interest in in altcoins from it's new money. Like no matter how you chop it, there is new money coming into altcoins, right? Just look at dominance, Bitcoin's dominance. You can see, you know, it's very clear that there is some kind of shift. Now, to me though, Bitcoin ultimately still has to rally and succeed for alts to really, I mean, if this is what we're doing under low volatility, imagine when we hit the next of it, you know, our next impulse cycle on Bitcoin at the top of that, the type of cycles we'll have into altcoins. If this is what we're doing on this, it's just going to be absolutely insane once we do begin to take off.
So I wasn't around for the last alt season, like not the real alt season. I caught the tail end in 2018 when it was kind of finishing up, right? The pump before much sadness and crying every day. What was it like 2017? Like what was the cycle like, and how can people now use your experience to play this a little bit better?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, in 2016, a lot of unbelievable predictions. There was a lot of unbelievable predictions being made. But in the end, a lot of those unbelievable predictions came true, like price predictions with Ethereum, with Bitcoin. Like I remember at $600-700, there was kind of a narrative that we might hit 10,000, you know, this year. It made sense, like from a TA point of view, like if you're really just looking at a normal market, we would have topped somewhere like 4,700 or so. But obviously we continued forever. But, you know, 10K just sounded so great. And it sounded insane. And so many people, just like now, are saying, okay, 100K is insane. And I'm not saying 100K is on tape. We have a long ways to go. But don't discount the impossible right now. And try not to look at things that like moves in dollars. Like, okay, a move from $10,000 to $50,000 per Bitcoin is huge, right? That's right. 5x. But if you think of it just in like this last bull cycle, you know, a move from $100 to $500 or $1,000 to $5,000, it's the same percentage, the same math. So as more adoption comes in, like those things kind of even out and the unbelievable becomes believable. Sure. But at the same time, you do have to, a lot of people got caught at that top. You do have to know when enough is enough. Take your personal situation into account, you know, where you're at financially, and take profit when you need to. Don't get greedy, pay off all that. Bull market, you should be debt free at the end of it with the way this should go. So.
Yeah. Lambos and no debt for everybody, right? God.
The good thing is we're super early. We're at the bottom still technically. So
yeah. You know, it's eventually we're going to get back to that time where, you know, it was like the Miami Bitcoin conference 2018. That's kind of like what I think as the peak of 2017, maybe, whatever, that conference in the winter in Miami, that was definitely the peak of the bull market. It was just opulence all the way around.
Yachts.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I think your video with McAfee was one of the first that I saw when I'd entered the space. What kind of car were you guys in for that?
I was in a brand new Rolls Royce Dawn. I had that for like 5 months. It's just too expensive. Especially, I went from a very fast car to that, and I was like really wanting a daily driver that's fast. Anyway, long story short, financial things happened and I got rid of it. But that was a great car. And John is a very interesting character, and he just seems to never go away from crypto. So, yeah.
Hey, look, the guy's made some good financial bets in his life, and I think everyone can say that he's a little bit nuts.
Can't stop watching him. Yeah, like hey, I can't stop.
It's true. Everyone loves a train wreck, right?
Yeah, and he's like the whole IRS thing. I haven't paid my taxes in years. And
gets
then
on
boom.
A boat and leaves.
Yeah, 2 weeks later, there's a warrant for him, you know, after he was bragging about it. The guy is just unbelievable.
While he's running for president, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What a time to be alive. It's so exciting to look at everything that's going on. I know we called the show Bullish AF for a reason. I am unfailingly optimistic for the space, for life, for all that's going on, because it's easy to get negative and get down, but there's just so much to look forward to, man.
Yeah.
The market as it is right now, I think, is just gearing up to be one of the more exciting times. We haven't really, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've really seen retail interest start to come back in yet.
It's definitely not like 2017. Like, how many signups a day was Coinbase getting? 75,000 or something like that? Or
yeah, it's crazy.
That number could be completely wrong, but I just know it's ridiculous. And we're seeing things like TikTok come in with Doge. It's interesting. Like, the argument Doge may have been pumped by TikTok, but like the argument could have been made months ago that would be a logical place to take profit at that 0.00006, whatever it was, sats, where they pumped it to, and now we're just kind of chilling, waiting to take off again. Are you bullish on Doge right now?
I'm never bullish on Doge. I enjoy Doge, but I don't trade it. And it's
very speculative, of course.
I like speculative stuff, but there's been so many tops that there's bag holders, and I'm more of a fan of the unpumped shitcoins. Plus,
I see.
Doge takes a really long time to get in position, and
sometimes.
I've got more of a shorter time preference when it comes to trades. I like to get into something, swing trade it for a little while if that's the play, or be all in and all out in the span of a month. So really buying the rumor, selling the news. So Doge has never really been one for me.
So to sum it up, Whit is basically a trader for all the viewers out there. Trader to crypto. He doesn't trade Doge.
Yeah, that's right. If
trader as in TRAA.
As in the bad one. Yes.
I mean, even Elon.
Maybe I need to start a TikTok and just start pumping it. I hope Josh doesn't see this. He's going to kill me, but
yeah, Josh is definitely going to be angry.
So, I mean, you alluded to this, but what are your thoughts on FA versus TA when it comes to sentiment lining up with what the chart says?
Yeah. So I at this point, so fundamentals are great, right? Just not in crypto. Because let's be real, I feel not that it can't be traded. Obviously, there's lots of money to be made, but I feel fundamentals are in a fantasy land in crypto. Like the reality of it. It's just overvalued and very speculative in the future. And that's fine. That's great. I'm not complaining because I'm a technical guy. I like, what the charts are telling me. So Doge, right? Obviously, I would never buy Doge to like use it as a use case, but I would buy it to speculate on. And it doesn't really matter. Like the Doge is moving. If there's liquidity, then take the position. And same goes with any kind of shitcoiner. If I'm going to buy anything because I believe in it, it's Bitcoin, obviously. But that's not news to anybody. It's seen me talk before. But I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But there was a point, something about
TA versus FA. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that'll say that, FA is all indicated by the charts anyway, right? Like you can look at the chart and you can tell when things are going to occur. And then the news is just, a happy byproduct that leads into the chart. I've heard analysts say that.
I think a lot of things like fundamental analysis and sentiment analysis should be left up to machine learning or some kind of automated system. And not so much like me personally. Like even with trading now, technicals, like I'm building a lot of different algo designs, trade a lot of different markets. And yeah, anyway, that was going.
So let's talk about what you're working on now. Yeah. So you've been working on this for quite a while now, right? A year and a half or so, a little bit longer.
A couple of years now.
Yeah. So what's the end goal? When's launch and what's that going to look like?
Yeah. So public launch will be probably sometime next month. As far as like the legal registration, going through all that. Yeah. And then we have some plans to kind of tap some other markets. There's a lot of interesting things going on in Canada with venture capital firms and how they're, so they're being listed as pretty much an ETF in Canada, VC funds. Really? I really like the idea of exploring exposure through those ETFs to crypto, but through algorithmic trading. So a combination of algorithms listed as an ETF, for instance, on a Canadian exchange, I think would be a great bridge from traditional finance that wants to have exposure to crypto. And if, these algos have a history of showing profitability no matter what, then, it's going to be a very attractive ETF because it has all the buzzwords you need. So I'm interested in kind of building and looking at taking everything to that direction.
Interesting, man. Yeah. Canada's got some very unique crypto laws when it comes to how they allow people to operate. We'd at one point in time, we were working with someone who, had wanted, it was encouraging hash rate to basically do a roadshow and go public in Canada, which is not at all, something that we had considered. And when he presented it to us and we talked about it, it's just, we dug into some of the rules and regulations in Canada and how businesses are allowed to operate up there. And it's nuts. I mean, their stock exchange is like a shitcoin market.
Yeah.
And it's, more power to them. I trade shitcoin markets all the time. I don't have anything bad to say about that. It was just really, really interesting compared to what's offered here in the States. So these ETFs that the funds are building or that are, how they're operating as, how is that set up? Are you talking like the funds themselves are listed on exchanges and they trade as ETFs, or they have the exchange traded products through their fund, and you're going to play those with the algo, with the bots?
So what we're picturing is a package of algos to kind of balance it out. So instead of a basket of assets like related to gold, like you would see with normal ETFs or oil or whatever,
sure.
They'll package up a bunch of assets and a package of algos, all kind of covering. So we've designed a couple systems that cover, I guess, as FTX has it, like the shitcoin cap,
sure,
mid cap, and the larger cap. So more of your blue chip altcoins is the way I look at the larger cap coins, and then Bitcoin. So we kind of cover all aspects of the market, whether it's moving or not. And so I can picture, a pretty balanced ETF being real attractive to traditional investors, because then they kind of can see a track record of, the volatility we have kind of being evened out by an equity curve instead.
Interesting. So the ETF in the States has become kind of a meme over the last couple of years. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, do we need one? Does it matter? Will we get one?
I think
what are your thoughts?
I don't think so. I think there's enough things being built, to attract people from the traditional world that Bitcoin can have adoption. Obviously, anything we build like that's new, or like that anybody builds that's new, is going to be good. But we don't necessarily need any of that stuff. So, and there's already like some crypto ETFs in Canada and
yeah,
some other ways to get exposure that way too from the traditional side. But no, Bitcoin will succeed with, I hate to say it, companies like Coinbase, Binance, the big ones that are very controversial that a lot of people use. They also bring in a lot of fresh money.
Sure.
Companies like Gemini are doing a lot of good too to build the gap in between traditional banking and Bitcoin.
Well, listen, that's, I think, the hardest thing for, call them normies, to break from, right? I mean, if you've only worked with your bank for the entirety of your financial history, to then move off that and be your own bank. And I mean, it can be a lot to take in, right? So the Coinbases, the Geminis, the Binances, they make it palatable. And although people who are more experienced in crypto, maybe they have their qualms one way or another with those companies, I think that you need, multiple multi-billion-dollar companies that can be out there, can be, properly vetted, insured, and trustworthy enough for a normie who, I mean, frankly speaking, most people don't give a shit about their privacy anyway, right? So when you talk about Coinbase selling information to the IRS, I mean, most people don't really care. People in crypto care, but I think that's hugely beneficial. Dude, have you looked into
it's like saying, Bank of America is selling your information to the IRS, right? Like to a normal person. Oh, well, of course they are,
Right.
So, but to crypto folks, it's like, God.
Sacrilegious, man. You can't come after our info.
Yeah.
Dude, have you looked at the hash rate contracts that FTX has up?
I have looked at them, yeah. But yeah. What's your thoughts on those? You traded them?
I don't trade them, but I'm excited for the future of those contracts. I think that physically delivered and synthetic hash rate contracts are going to be a massive opportunity for people who are currently trading Bitcoin futures, and it's a little bit more predictable. Once they get hold, I think it will actually drive the volatility down of Bitcoin's price, and it will make it more of a commodity. So if you think of like oil futures or corn futures or any of the other commodities that are traded, those are massive markets, and they are incredibly profitable to trade. But the underlying commodity, the corn, the oil, prices tend to fluctuate less, and that stability allows for broader use and better adoption when it comes to Bitcoin. So there's a huge opportunity there, but I still think we're a couple of years out from big adoption. Some of the miners are starting to use them to hedge right now. I'll
say this about Sam and FTX, man. They are bringing some really incredible products to the market for traders and just the industry. And keep in mind, like, even if people don't trade on FTX.com because they're in the US or whatever reason, like, as they create these new products that everybody's talking about, trust me, other exchanges are taking note. They're kind of setting the standard right now of what we need in the trading space and really the space financially to just kind of make this a real environment for people. So
yeah, Sam is one of the coolest people that I've gotten to interview in the past for Hashrate podcast. And it was on, like, after that show, we had a 20-minute conversation. He asked us some questions about the hash rate futures and what we thought. And then we had a follow-up call with him for an hour. And literally on that follow-up call, I could hear him building the product.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, it was launched. He is an animal. And
he's a machine.
Yeah, dude. And he's such a nice guy too. So down to earth.
He runs the most honest exchange ever too. Not to rather not to promote. I'm going to promote, in the space who I think is the best. And, there's this whole conversation with Alameda being the market maker, there and other places, and they own FTX. This is a good thing, guys. Like, they run a very honest exchange through their volume monitors. So you're not going to, as big as they are and spread throughout the exchange space, they're keeping the exchanges honest, not only with their trading activity, but like what they're reporting on. So I think all in all, man, they're very, very important to the entire industry. Even Binance knows that. I mean, they took what was it, 8-figure investment into FTX.
Yep. I mean, honestly, can you imagine Sam pitching you if you're a VC? Like, wouldn't that be the fastest check you ever wrote in your life? Yeah.
He's a physicist from MIT.
And he's just a whiz, man. Like it's a very, very smart guy. And we're lucky that he's focused on crypto. If he was focused on AI and machine learning, I would be scared for all of our lives. He would build Skynet so fast. I'm just glad that it's Alameda and FTX.
I think machine learning will be good for the crypto industry as a whole in trading. That's definitely the next step with everything. Building algorithmic trading systems through and making them profitable in crypto, it truly is easy. A 10 and 20 moving average crossover with some kind of stop logic and take profit logic is going to be profitable in this coming market. Like, anybody's going to be able to make money with algorithmic trades, really, truly. Otherwise, you just don't know what you're doing. So I think the next step logically is beginning to understand the wealth of data we have in this space. Traditionally, you're limited to your broker for data, what your broker releases you. You don't know how much money is in a wallet address. You don't know how much money is on exchanges. You don't know what trades are being made, as clear as we do nowadays.
Right.
There's a lot of information that crypto has that needs to be understood that we don't have in other markets. And so I think that's the next big step for traders as a whole.
So what are some good educational resources? Like, if someone is new, right, what's step one of how to not lose all of your money in crypto?
Oh boy. You really need to understand who you are first as a trader or an investor. Are you going to need this money? If we're starting from there, cause that's a very complex thing. You can't just jump in and begin to trade, could point people in the right direction to learn how to trade. But if you're going to do that, take it slow if you've never had And there's a wealth of information for free on Google. Paid groups, I'm sure you can learn a lot from, but I'm telling you, a lot of that stuff you can learn, on Google. Also, if you want to learn something about like Ichimoku, there's a lot of good guys in the space that you can just, Ichimoku, whatever type of trading system, doesn't matter, volume. You're going to find guys on Twitter that are very happy to talk about it. And a lot of the time you can learn a lot that way. So recommend that if someone was getting into trading. But if you're just like an investor and you don't really want to take an active role or don't have the time or maybe even, the intelligence for it, you just realized I'm not a trader. That happens. Then as far as investing goes, just know what you're investing in and don't go off of what people on social media are telling you. If you see something interesting and someone's saying it's going to change the world, do some research on it and just read about it. And then also type in that name and then scam into Google. And Google's going to automatically populate any kind of scam reports on something. And you're going to see other people's opinion. Just do that type of research on it. It's very simple. 2 Google searches will let you know about something really before you put your money into it.
And we're getting into that season,
Yeah. Good luck.
Especially
have fun
DeFi
from here,
dude. So that's there's so many ways to make money in the industry and in this market. I mean, especially in this market. And there's so many ways to lose money. It's always, because you got to think, right? Like every pump, in order for people to take profit, somebody's got to buy the top,
Right.
So it's crazy to think that there's somebody out there that's holding, the top of Link. And it's the local top, but still a top nonetheless. It's crazy. And I was that guy, right? Like I'm the guy who bought $3 Ripple from everybody in 2018. So oof. I know the feeling, man. Dude,
24 cents off the top.
Bro, I lost 40. Well, okay, so it pumped a little bit before. So when I bought in, I wrote it up. I had like 75K in my portfolio. And then 2 days later, it was down to like nothing. I was at like 12K, and I remember like what do I show my wife? Like I showed her the portfolio at 75K.
How do I tell my wife?
And I'm like yes. And that's like, that was my first thing. I was like, shit, now what do I do? I was talking about this with the guys a couple of days ago. Now, anytime I have the desire to show my portfolio to my wife, I have to sell something. Like that is my own personal, all right, you're kind of feeling yourself too much. You got to take some profit.
Yeah. I swear that's how life works in general. Like, excuse me. As soon as you start bragging about it on Twitter or to whoever, that's when it starts dumping. I swear, it's just how life is.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm wondering how the rest of this is going to shape up, right? Like we're getting to a point where it seems like the market is somewhat reactive to Bitcoin moves. And I mean, it has been my entire time in crypto, right? Like if Bitcoin pumps or dumps, then alts are pumping or dumping exponentially in relation to Bitcoin's move. But then I'm reminded about the fact that that's always been the case, except for the one time that it wasn't. And at that time, it was just alts kept pumping, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Like if Bitcoin has a $1,000 candle tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. What are alts? How are alts looking to you? Are alts looking a little bit toppy? Like they're going to dump with Bitcoin's pump?
That's pretty, that's a good question. If Bitcoin suddenly just had a $1,000 yeet candle, I definitely would want to reduce my risk to alts from here, because I think something like, a $1,000 candle, which is very much still a reality, a possibility, not even a possibility. It's just, I remember those $1,000 candles, they're coming, they will come. And I think at that point, all eyes go on Bitcoin, because as great as Ethereum is, and as great as, back to what we were talking about in the beginning, is there is interest in altcoins from fresh money. Bitcoin is still Mac Daddy. Bitcoin, our entire world is priced in Bitcoin, not Bitcoin USD. It's everything / Bitcoin. Bitcoin is our US dollar of our market. So it affects where a majority of the volume is in BTC pairs, and it also affects, look, they're building products for BTC. You don't see many products for Ethereum or other altcoins, so where the focus is at and the money is at is where I want to be. And so when, Bitcoin does have a moment to where all eyes are on Bitcoin and the entire news is going to be talking about it, I definitely want to reduce exposure, but there's going to be a time and a place to come back in those alts for sure in the near future. So
right. When Brian Kelly starts shilling Ripple on CNBC, it is time to get out of altcoins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. God, man. Anyways, hindsight is 2020.
It's amazing some of these traders they put on shows, man.
I mean, it's amazing some of the traders that have big followings and massive groups, right? And look, I'm not opposed to paid groups. I really enjoyed my time getting to know everyone in Bitcoin Bravado, and I would go back and I would pay double for what I paid for that experience because it set my path, right? I learned a lot there, and the way that I look at it is everything in crypto up to this point is still cheaper than what I paid for college, and fortunately, crypto's been a much better return for me. But yeah, it's just, I look at it now and I see some of the charlatans that are out there that just really shouldn't be giving advice. But, when I was talking to Scott Melker, he had mentioned, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like if you have a big enough following and you mention a token, it's going to pump,
Yeah.
If you got 60, 70,000 people that are following you and there's a shit coin that's got a, 5, 6, 10, $15 million market cap, all it takes is a tweet for it to go to, 20, 25 million.
Right.
So,
yeah. In order for altcoins to be taken seriously too, that's going to kind of weed out, I think, over time. I think that type of Wild West environment that we saw 2017, 2018, it's not going to exist as much. I think we're going to start to have some legitimacy come to the industry from here out. And we're going to see a lot of like altcoins. There's going to be losers. There's going to be projects that literally go to zero in this market. That's just the reality of coming out of a prior market. Some of these projects are truly dead. You're going to see their price fly up and absolutely nothing's been done for like a year and a half on the project. Just be careful on those. But
yeah, well, I mean, we're seeing it already. There was Loki, which, they're a proof of work coin and they were built for privacy. And there's a lot of people that would argue that Loki is great and they've continued development. But the price has stagnated. They've tried everything that they can. They've done algo changes. They've forked. They've done this. They've done that. And then a couple of days ago, they announced that they were going to delve into DeFi, right? And sure enough, price rockets. And I will bet money that dev team is no longer affiliated with Loki. They have exited the building. And I think that there's just not enough people that have experienced that yet. There's still a lot of new miners that are just semi-religious about what they're mining. And God, I hope they're not left bag holding there. There's going to be more.
I'm learning, every 6 months or so we get new buzzwords in the space. And DeFi is one of them right now. And I just, the news I can't take. I'll catch up when it's all over with. If there's something moving, I'll trade it. But everything else, I'm just over it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really, I had a conversation last show about yield farming. I haven't been able to dig too much into it, from a short-term trading perspective. There's a lot of great things. I don't mess with Uniswap or any of the a little more time-consuming dexes and liquidity pools. It's just too much for me, right? Like,
are you mining still now that you've just moved?
No, I don't have a setup here. No, I mean, where I'm at right now is 12 euro cents per kilowatt hour. So that's puts me right outside of profitability on just about anything. Well, this time of year, right? It's hot now. So when it's cold where I'm at, it's like 1 to 2 euro cents. So it's really, really good, but you can't really scale that. You got to have sustainability. But to be honest, man, I like my mining preference. Like when I started, I built a computer to mine Raven, right? But I've moved towards Bitcoin more than anything.
Yeah.
So now the focus has just been on, getting funds together to scale into that, because that's not the same. You know, you're talking about a $10,000 expense, which can, you know, set you up with a nice, you know, operation for GPU mining versus a $10,000 expense, which is basically 5 ASICs. So yeah, apples and oranges. But mining right now is not, it's a profitable game for people who are paying attention, but it's not a good game for the little guys. You know, it's really, really tough just because of Bitcoin's current price action. Yeah. Bitcoin gets over 10K. It's a different story, but we got $500 to go. We need to get that bump. What are we at right now? Is it 95, 96?
We are 95, 90.
95, 90. Dude, we may cross 10K before the end of the weekend. I'm just glad we're over 9K and we don't have to see any more Dragon Ball Z memes.
It's looking really, I know we've been holding over 9K pretty nice too.
God, maybe we shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, I went ahead and ruined it the other day on purpose. It was like at 9,200 or something. I was like, I'm going to tweet just to ruin it. At least we're still over 9,000 and then expect the dump. So I was kind of pulling the reverse Uno card on them. So yeah, we held ahead. My tweet didn't ruin it.
Well, there we go, man. We just got to keep that going. Keep this momentum going. You know, it's exciting to see that everything is going this direction in the market. I'm glad that we were able to chat. It's been awesome getting to catch up with you, man. So let everyone know. I mean, I'm sure everyone already knows. If they're watching this show, they know who you are. But let everyone know where they can find you, and if there's any other information you want to pass along, shoot.
Right now, pay attention to my Twitter, twitter.com/cryptocore. Something like that. Just search Core.
Like that.
Because everything else will come. I've got a bunch of announcements and stuff once I get everything launched. Some stuff with social media and all that. But for now, all Twitter.
There you go. All right. Well, Nick Core, thanks for coming on. Bullish AF, man. I appreciate you, man.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Yay. Pleasure. And to all the viewers out there, thank you for tuning into Bullish AF. It is an awesome time. Hope you guys are enjoying these markets. And until we see you again, everyone stay bullish. Thanks for tuning in to Bullish AF, a Hashrate Media production. If you enjoyed this video, remember to smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. Also, turn on notifications so that you are made aware every time Hashrate releases a new piece of content. You can count on us to provide you with the best interviews and the most actionable information to help you better navigate these cryptocurrency and Bitcoin mining markets. Please remember that all information shared by Hashrate Media on Bullish AF or any of our other media properties is strictly for informational and entertainment purposes. It is not to be taken as financial advice. We are not financial advisors, and we do not presume to give you information that you should be trading on. So do your own research for everything that we discuss. All we're here for is entertainment value, and hopefully you guys enjoy that. Also, if you head over to hashrate.com, you can register for difficulty adjustment, the best email on Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and mining. By registering, you are eligible for Hashrate's weekly giveaway of a Ledger Nano S. All you have to do is go to hashrate.com, register your email address. You will automatically be entered into that contest to win a Ledger Nano S each and every week. So go ahead and do that today. There's a link in the show's notes to make it very easy for you. Thank you all again for tuning into the show. And until next time, everyone, stay bullish.